5 minutes after the attack on FSS Finland. General Quarters, General Quarters. All hands man your battle stations. General Quarters, General Quarters. All hands man your battle stations. This same alarm rang out across every ship of 71st Carrier Group. Their deployment into manted space had been relatively quiet until now. Even though they were confused, the crews quickly responded to the call. Weapon systems came online, hatches were sealed, and damage control stations were manned. Forces belonging to the Manted Hive have been confirmed to have attacked a frigate, the FSS Finland, patrolling the outskirts of our controlled region. The ship is heavily damaged, and on her way back to a starbase for repair. We, however, have different orders. Command wishes us to respond to this attack in kind. We will be relaying individual orders to each ship shortly. The crews of the 71st looked at one another, whispers ranging from confusion to outright anger, which filled the spaces within the fleet. Without another fleet-wide communication, the fleet separated. Some ships were sent to reinforce the defensive line, while others struck out into manted controlled space. 30 minutes after the attack on FSS Finland. The 71st spread out, quickly advancing towards individual targets. It seemed that the mantids wouldn't put up any resistance at first. Then a manted destroyer, one of the older ships in their fleet, moved to intercept a lone destroyer. The captain of FSS Titan ordered his ship to hold fire unless the manted ship fired first. It wasn't their target after all. The peace wasn't to last, as the manted ship opened fire on the human ship. The skirmish was short and brutal. It was no secret that the human fleet was far more advanced than the aging manted navy. After receiving the damage reports, the captain of FSS Titan ordered his ship onward towards their objective. Elsewhere in manted space, a squadron of stealth-capable bombers closed in on their target. They'd been deployed from the flagship of the 71st. Their mission was to destroy the fuel refinery station, primarily responsible for refueling manted warships in this sector. Without even a blip showing on the manted scanners, they released their payloads. If they'd used combustible munitions, the muted explosions would have allowed onlookers to watch the station come apart at the seams. As it was, the high-yield energy torpedoes lit the void of space up with their vibrant detonation. 1 hour after the attack on FSS Finland, a team of saboteurs raced to their predetermined extraction point, the staccato sound of gunfire chasing their retreat. The team had breached hot, planting their munitions in key sections of the listening post. Once the team had boarded the assault transport and it was away, they detonated the explosives, separating the listening post into 3 distinct pieces. 4 hours after the attack on FSS Finland, Ambassador Cyrex paced around his platform, his long blade-like arms waving in agitation as he clicked his complaint into the translator. The humans' attack on our sovereign systems cannot go unpunished. Already they have destroyed a third of our naval assets. The Galactic Council listened in silence. Some of them agreed that the Federation's attack was overkill, but none had a chance to voice that thought before the leader of the Federation herself spoke. Members of the Galactic Council, the Manted Fleet attacked one of our ships, a ship that was within our own region of controlled space. They may attempt to convince you that they are the victim, but let us not forget who shot first. Besides, what law are we in breach of? All of our targets have been military. This is simply what we consider a proportional response. 6 hours after the attack on NSS Finland, with a full 60% of the Manted Navy not considered combat effective, a general recall was sent to the members of the 71st. Withdrawals from the combat zone began. In most cases this went smoothly, but one squadron of strike fighters, who had been unable to locate their objective, one of the only modernized ships in the Manted Fleet, finally detected their prey. Their orders were clear. They could not engage the ship, but if it fired on them, they could defend themselves. A pilot of one of the strike fighters flew a little too close. At an angle some could mistake as an attack vector, at a speed meant for a gun run. The manted ship foolishly decided to open fire with a point defense gun. Following that, the pilot and the rest of his squadron quickly engaged the larger ship in an act of self-defense, leaving its engines ruptured and large chunks of its hull ripped open. 8 hours after the attack on NSS Finland, after concluding an investigation of the actions taken by the 71st Carrier Strike Group of the Human Federation, it is the opinion of the Council that the action taken were proportional. We find no evidence of wrongdoing on the part of the humans, and find the Manted Hive for their act of aggression, and for wasting the Council's time with their request for inquiry. Council member Xena stepped back from the recorder and slumped into their chair, a glass of red liquid sloshing in her hand as they looked at the recording of the event. If they consider this proportional for a ship being damaged, what would happen if they lost one?